Hey everyone, Jared here. If there's one word we've come to associate with South Park, it's irreverent. In the world of South Park, nothing is sacred.
Not Santa's balls!
Whether they love the show or hate it, almost every critic has called it irreverent at some time or another.
God damn it!
I heard that.
Most people who call South Park irreverent are using the word in a very general sense, but there's something special about the way the show deals with religion.
Don't let God kill me!
Which is usually all about reverence.
That's God?
What did you expect me to look like, my son?
Well, not like that.
Whether the series is pitting baby Jesus in Mortal Kombat against Frosty the Snowman, or exploring the question of whether Satan should wear a Britney Spears costume to his Sweet 16 birthday party, South Park forces us to take a hard look at what religion really means to us. And in the process, the show raises some important questions that other series wouldn't have the nerve to ask.
Who was right? Who gets into heaven? I'm afraid it was the Mormons. Yes, the Mormons were the correct answer.
Welcome to this special Wisecrack edition on religion in South Park. Part 1. Are you there, God? It's me, Jesus. Before South Park was even South Park, Matt Stone and Trey Parker released 2 standalone holiday specials that pitted Jesus against an evil snowman and Santa Claus over the soul of the holidays. And both specials ended with the same sentiment.
No, it's not even about Jesus either. Well, then what's it all about? Prison.
This is about something much more important. What? Presents.
In the world of South Park, things that seem ordinary can be a really big deal.
Hail Mel Gibson. N.E.
And things that sound mind-blowingly important on paper can be no big deal at all.
And for those of you who were a little confused, you are dead, and this is hell. So abandon all hope, and yada yada yada.
The boys aren't at all starstruck when they talk to Jesus, but they fight over who gets to play him in the Easter play.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but I'm Jesus and you aren't.
The profound and the ordinary are all swimming in the same soup.
Great and honorable Moses, what do you desire from us, your children?
I desire macaroni pictures.
When the boys meet God in Season 3 and are given the opportunity to ask any question, Stan asks about periods.
How come I haven't gotten my period yet?
In Season 7, they do find out the meaning of life. Earth is an intergalactic Truman Show-style reality series on the verge of cancellation.
Earth has been canceled.
Jesus can't get anyone to watch his public access talk show, and Satan is a serial monogamist who keeps going back to Saddam Hussein even though he knows Saddam isn't good for him.
I love you.
I want to believe that.
The only time religion does stand out as important is when people are manipulating it for their own purposes. And while several town leaders try this over the course of the series, Eric Cartman is the undisputed master.
You don't even know anything about Christianity. I know enough to exploit it.
In Season 4, he becomes a tent revival preacher and gets rich off the donations.
I'm saying this because we must be saved.
In Season 7, he makes it big in Christian music by taking secular pop songs and making them sound almost religious. In Season 8, he builds a fan club around Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ because he sees it as an opportunity to lead the Fourth Reich. In Season 17, he paints a cow to resemble the biblically prophesized red heifer just to screw with Kyle's head, and accidentally brings about world peace.
Jews, Christians, and Muslims have united, ushering in 10 years of Van Halen.
Is the message of South Park that religion is just plain ridiculous and makes people gullible? It's easy to walk away with that impression, and a lot of people have, but the actual series creators Matt Stone and Trey Parker largely disagree.
Recently, atheists and people who hate religion have really glommed onto our show too, because we make fun of a lot of religion. We've made fun of everything. But neither one of us is anti-religious at all. I mean, I'm fascinated by religion.
So what's really going on here? South Park may come across as anti-religious to some people because it doesn't treat religion as a sacred subject. And in Western spiritual traditions, honoring the sacred is a big part of what it's all about. As the French philosopher and sociologist Emile Durkheim put it in The Elementary Forms of Religious Life, Western religions primarily work by dividing the world into 2 categories, the sacred and the profane. You always take the sacred seriously because it deals with fundamental cosmic forces and determines the state of your soul. The profane, not so much. As he put it, in the history of human thought, there exists no other example of 2 categories of things so profoundly differentiated or so radically opposed to one another. South Park fundamentally denies the legitimacy of the distinction between the sacred and the profane. In the Season 6 episode Red Hot Catholic Love, for example, Father Maxi travels to the Vatican to try to end the clergy molestation scandal, only to find that the Catholic Church is an intergalactic coalition ruled by a sentient giant spider who is given the green light to pedophilia.
Great Queen Spider, we We wish to change one of the Vatican rules.
The Vatican rules cannot be changed, so saith the spider.
Father Maxey bravely tears the sacred Vatican document in two, defying and invalidating the Queen Spider's authority. It's a metaphor for the molestation scandal itself. As long as the church was too sacred to investigate, it was too sacred to evolve.
The holy document, the Vatican law, cannot be changed.
The church could only be saved if someone was willing to desecrate it, or the Boston Globe's team of reporters for bringing the scandal to light. This is a recurring theme in the series, that sometimes the only way you can save something you've made sacred
Do you know how many people died so you could have the right to vote?
is by desecrating it.
Vote for a turd sandwich.
This is especially evident in the South Park movie, where Cartman and Kenny save the world by cursing out Saddam Hussein and making a deal with the devil, respectively. And in the season 7 episode Cancelled, the cosmic TV industry agrees not to destroy Earth for reasons that Gene Roddenberry probably wouldn't have found very inspiring.
I'm sure you'll see that if you give our world time, it will become even more outrageous and violent.
There's even World War III to look forward to.
South Park also suggests that our concept of the sacred is a little screwy to begin with. Jesus literally walks the earth, but most of the time nobody really pays much attention to him. It's not even clear that they recognize him.
Look, it's that guy from the public access show.
His public access talk show Jesus and Pals routinely gets clobbered in the ratings by Jimbo and Ed's series Huntin' and Killin'. But let him fight, something he usually has no interest in doing, and suddenly he's their lord. He fights Frosty and Santa in the pre-series Christmas specials, Satan in season 1, Iraqi soldiers in season 6, right-wing activist Bill Donahue and a xenomorph in season 11, and a Susian villain in season 16. It's a tall order for the Prince of Peace, but it's the only way he can keep his followers' respect. South Park's Jesus seems to be well acquainted with what the American theologian Walter Wink called the myth of redemptive violence. According to the myth, our sense of the sacred, going all the way back to ancient Babylonian mythology, comes from the desire to see good fight evil and win.
Very well. Let the final battle between good and evil be fought right here in South Park.
Come on, Dad, we gotta get our asses to the bookie.
Wink writes, this myth of redemptive violence is the real myth of the modern world. It, and not Judaism or Christianity or Islam, is the dominant religion in our society today. Jesus fights, in other words, because he realizes the myth his followers project on him is more important than anything he can offer himself.
I just feel like if people could see me in action again, they'd realize I'm not a fraud.
It never comes naturally to him, but it's all people seem to care about. When Jesus and other religious figures turn into superheroes, they're just carrying the idea to its logical conclusion, conceding the power the myth of redemptive violence seems to hold over every religion. As I said earlier, nothing is sacred in the world of South Park. And while they've faced right-wing boycotts for their portrayal of Jesus and network censorship for their attempt to portray the Prophet Muhammad, Stone and Parker don't see themselves as heroes. After all, this is South Park. If they had a bigger point to make, something we might be inclined to treat with more, I don't know, reverence, they'd probably never admit it. Part 2, a cause for applause. Once you get past the casual attitude towards the sacred, South Park isn't really all that hard on religion, and one of its major recurring themes is that you don't actually have to be religious to act like a narrow-minded asshole.
As long as you live here, you will be agnostic. These are your foster brothers and sisters. They are all strict agnostics. David, do you believe in God?
I don't know.
Right!
Almost every episode of the series features at least one character who's self-righteous about something.
I'm not a dick. I'm like Gandhi.
But Stan's season 16 arc as a self-promotional activist stands out as a particularly strong example.
I think bullying has gotten out of hand, and it needs to be stopped.
Good for you, Stan. He's cool.
In Butterballs and a Cause for Applause, Stan gets a taste of what it's like to be treated with reverence, and he likes it a little bit too much.
When others sat, I kept my bracelet on, because I stand for standing. I stand ground.
What holds Stan back is that every time he's seen as a hero, something happens to take him down a peg. As soon as he realizes his cause won't make him popular, he moves on.
I'm just through with this whole thing. I can't put my family through any more of this.
This is what distinguishes him from his on-again, off-again girlfriend, Wendy Testaberger. She doesn't care if her opinions make her popular or not. She has deeper motivations and a lot more self-respect.
Wendy, did you see the stuff Cartman is saying about you now?
I really don't care, Stan.
One of the points South Park makes is that if a movement is run by people who are just trying to be taken seriously, it's likely to go off the rails. This is as true of the New Atheism movement as it is of any other movement.
Dawkins knew that logic and reason were the way of the future, but it wasn't until he met his beautiful wife that he learned using logic logic and reason isn't enough. You have to be a dick to everyone who doesn't think like you.
In the two-part episode Go God Go, Cartman is trapped in the 26th century as three rival atheist factions kill each other over branding disputes.
Unified Atheist League is the most logical name.
United Atheist Alliance makes more sense.
No! Allied Atheist Alliance! That way it has 3 A's!
The message is simple. Human beings are violent and irrational, and getting rid of religion isn't going to change that.
Maybe just believing in God makes God exist. Kill the wise one! Kill the wise one!
The difference between Stone and Parker and the new atheist movement ultimately centers on a chicken or egg problem. Are people ridiculous because religion is ridiculous? Or is religion ridiculous because people are ridiculous? Stone and Parker take the second view.
Out of all the ridiculous religion stories, which are greatly, wonderfully ridiculous, the silliest one I've ever heard is, yeah, there's this big giant universe and it's expanding, it's all going to collapse on itself, and we're all just here just cuz. Just cuz. Like, that to me is the most ridiculous explanation ever.
In Pythagoras' Trousers, Australian science historian Margaret Wertheim argues that in the West, scientific models of the universe tend to look a lot like religious ones. This is at least in part because they both labor under a hyper-masculine drive for certainty and finality. Insisting that we have to be absolutely sure about where the universe came from and why, even when we don't have much evidence to work from, is kind of like trying to navigate old country roads without asking anybody for directions. Wertheim, like Stone and Parker, argues that our refusal to accept ambiguity can make our answers to the big questions sound ridiculous. So if all of our worldviews are doomed to be at least a little bit ridiculous, and all of our movements run the risk of becoming at least a little bit fanatical, should we be religious or not? This isn't a question Stone or Parker are interested in answering for other people. As Matt Stone rhetorically asked Slate in 2011, if the mass delusion of a religion makes you happy, makes your family work better, is that bad or good? The series itself has explicitly made that argument twice. Once at the end of Season 6 Red Hot Catholic Love,
When they have no mythology to try and live their lives by, they just start spewing a bunch of crap out of their mouths.
What was that last bit?
and again in Season 7's All About Mormons. After the entire episode rips on New Kid Gary's disconcertingly upbeat family life and unfamiliar religious beliefs, he finally stands up for himself at the end.
I don't care if Joseph Smith made it all up, because what the church teaches now is loving your family, being nice, and helping people. And even though people in this town might think that's stupid, I still choose to believe in it. All I ever did was try to be your friend, Stan. But you're so high and mighty you couldn't look past my religion and just be my friend back. You got a lot of growing up to do, buddy. Suck my balls.
Stone and Parker's view that being religious is sensible and not being religious is also sensible echoes the words of American philosopher William James. As he writes in his book Pragmatism, when a play is over and the curtain drawn, you really make it no better by claiming an illustrious genius for its author, just as you make it no worse by calling him a common hack. Essentially, whether or not it was created by a divine figure, it's still life. Conclusion. Most series that deal with religion as often as South Park,
yes! You God!
Give us an escape route, a religion or ideology we can accept to avoid being ridiculous. What makes South Park unique is the show's underlying philosophy that being human is inevitably ridiculous, and that there's no way of avoiding this fate. No matter which religion or life philosophy we adopt, South Park tells us that we'll look silly if we take ourselves too seriously.
For he is Savior, for he is Lord.
The question, in other words, isn't whether our belief system is a joke, it's whether or not we know it. Hey everyone, thanks for watching and for all the love you're showing for all things Wisecrack. Another great way you can support us is by supporting our sponsors. And this video is sponsored by Loot Crate. If you don't already know, Loot Crate is the awesome monthly subscription box service for epic geek and gamer items. The August Loot Crate is Anti-Heroes. If you're a fan of Archer, Harley Quinn, Hellboy, or Kill Bill, then you won't want to miss this crate. Sign up now at lootcrate.com/wisecrack and you'll get exclusive items from these epic franchises. And when you enter the code Wisecrack, you'll get 10% off a new subscription. For less than $20 a month, Loot Crate sends you unique collectibles, apparel, and more. You'll only have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to sign up and receive this month's crate. So go to lootcrate.com/wisecrack to sign up and enter the code Wisecrack to save 10% on any new subscription. And be sure to click on Mr. Hanky to check out our channel page and subscribe. We've got tons more great videos on the way and you won't want to miss it. I gotta go figure out whether Kanye likes fish sticks or not, so catch y'all next time. Peace.